Good evening, YouTube. My name is Yusuf, and you're watching my news channel. Today is the 22nd of June 2021. Let's take a look at sunspot activity. We see there is a tiny sunspot 2833, which isn't really flaring much. But I do see a slight uptick in the evening. We almost had a C flare, so this might develop further, especially when this sunspot actually leaves the Earth-facing side. We might see an increase in activity, as is usual the case. So there is a corona hole from which solar wind might reach us or graze our planet tomorrow or Thursday. We will see the next few days if it actually happens. Looking at the KP index, we see a little bit of activity, and I'll come to this back later on. When we look at the solar wind, we see actually a few things going on. There is first a little bit of fluctuation, then something happens over here in this section, and the magnetic field becomes steady, but also the BZ component. It strengthens a little bit, and I do believe this is because we are entering this particular zone over here. As you can see, we are the 22nd. So if I move this a little bit further, we have actually entered a region which is starting to get more dense in protons. This will continue. It will rise steadily until we reach the 25th of June. And actually until the 26th, when it actually starts to drop. So this is a decent amount of density which will arrive, but it is not accompanied by an increase in speed. So its effect will be lessened. Nonetheless, it already happens today as a slight increase. But I noticed something. There was like an impact, and I was looking to actually find what happened, because this is not that dense solar part, of course. This is really an impact of something, and I did see a tiny little CME which impacts our planet 22nd, as you can see. So in my opinion, this has arrived. And this is also visible in other simulations as well, not just the Schumann resonance. But I have to say this is actually a rather big signature for such a weak CME. And this could partly be explained when we actually look at the field lines. Let's just take a look at this simulation first to look at the bow shock. Like this. Let me just go to the beginning, play it again. So as you can see, the bow shock decompresses and compresses regularly. There is a decent amount of pressure, but nothing major, and the bow shock is not deforming or anything. It stays stable. Also the position, it doesn't really collapse to geosynchronous orbit. So basically it is handling the CME just fine. We can see that solar wind comes from different directions. This is normal. We have that CME on one hand, but we are entering that dense part of the solar wind which comes from another direction altogether. So this is all normal, as you can see. But something struck me, and maybe this could be the explanation of the Schumann resonance spike, because it is a very weak CME. So let me just go to the beginning and play this actually for you. Something which I really don't like is the change of colors of this polar cap field lines, which used to be black and give actually a very strong contrast in this simulation. Now that it is green, you actually almost don't see them at all. They blend with the green of the magnetosphere, of the background colors, which are also green and yellowish. So this is not really nice of NASA to make this, to change this in green. But hey, what can I say? I'm not the one who decides over there. So The thing of interest is actually over here. So these are actually the Van Allen belts, and there's actually that energy inside those closed field lines, that red hue. And look, in my opinion, immediately after the impact of the CME, they disappeared. So there is total electron depletion. You will see it. Hop. It happens very quickly, see? So you have them, they start to weaken, and then all of a sudden, they're gone. And at the same time, we actually see a pileup of IMF field lines. This is also kind of interesting. The closed field lines, once the energy is gone inside the electron belts, sort of gets blown away, as you can see, in a major fashion. And we can also see some entanglement, and this is why I don't like the change in colors. If this was black, you will actually see it as something major going on, but now it sort of blends with the background. So this is unfortunate. So there you have it. If you actually watch on a regular basis my videos, then you know I talk a lot about the electron belts. And since we are talking about them, I want also to show something which is very peculiar. Let me just find them. In fact, every signet of the electron belt, let me just pick one over here. This, for example, shows the L shells, their position. And let me just show you what this actually means. So these are the radiation belts, the Van Allen belts, and this represents position of those those loops, those magnetic loops. And each number represents a different position. So if I go back over here, this would have been a very interesting tool to monitor what's happening in the Van Allen belts. And what I noticed is that the timestamp stops at 31 October 2020. That's not really a long time since they are actually not updating, but they're not. Can't say if it's actually related to the thing that shall not be named, but in my opinion, I don't think so. This has probably something to do with the fact that we are not allowed to see a few things. And it covers actually every signet that you can click on. They all stop the 31 October 2020. What I also find rather interesting, when I look at the retired signets, when you look at this, you can actually see that the major ones that are discontinued all involve either the electron belt, but almost all, not everything, but the majority actually involve the electron belt, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs completely of the electron belts. This is all geomagnetism. So, as you can see, I don't think this is happening by chance. But who knows? I might be wrong. So, we have a big signature of the Schumann resonance. We did get impacted by a weak CME. And this is basically it for the space weather news. I will now switch to the earthquakes. But before that, if you haven't done already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications. This way you won't miss any future content. And you can also hit the like button if you actually are enjoying this. So looking at the earthquakes, actually, let's just put a 1 day all magnitudes. There isn't much going on aside from this 5.5 magnitude in Greece, but I do expect this to increase in the following hours because of that CME impact and also the steady increase in solar wind density. We might see some activity over there. Yeah. So this is basically almost the end of the video. This is again the Geldinkulator volcano live webcam. I always sort of show this at the end of my videos. This is actually kind of cool. It's still active. There's still a lot going on in Iceland, and especially when something happens in space, it's always interesting to actually check this volcano. Who knows? It might become even more active. As you can see, the lava is still rumbling inside, sometimes flowing out of it, so why not check it out? Okay, let's go to the philosophical quotes as usual. I don't know which one I have to look. Oh yes, I think 54 is the one that I have to read. So a man eminent in learning has not even a little virtue if he fears to practice it. What precious things can be shown to a blind man when he holds a lamp in his hand? Yes, I think this quote speaks for itself. If you learn a lot, but you don't have any meaningful use to the things that you are actually learning, then basically you are like learning nothing at all. So make sure if you learn something to actually use it or try it or experiment with it in real life. This is it, people. I hope you enjoyed the video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I guess we see each other next time. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.